What's going on, paisanos? V here. This video is going to be boring, but important. It's a video about the new tournament policy update that came into place April 3rd. Now, you probably guys saw a bunch of videos out about these other content creators talking about these tournament policies and having discussions, and that's fine. That's totally fine. In this video, I'm going to go over everything on this document, which is 49 pages long. Now, the reason it's kind of important for you, because if you're looking to play competitive Yu-Gi-Oh!, you're expected to know this. That's why it's important. In fact, you're expected to know the other last two policy documents that are broken up into two documents. I know one was 16 pages long. I find how long the other one is. And this is very important for you guys to understand. Now, if you guys can look over here in the top left, I can't show you this, actually, because supposedly I'll get in trouble, but it's education conflagration, which is basically Konami's unapproved judge Facebook group led by a Konami employee who will answer any questions. Now, unfortunately, I can't show you this to you guys, but what I can tell you is there's a ruling in there that's relatively important that you need to know. And when we get to this ruling, I'll point it out to you guys, because if you do not get that ruling, if you do not understand that ruling at all, you lose at Yu-Gi-Oh! Literally. If you're going to Nationals, if you're going to YCS, if you're going to Regionals, if the ruling's used against you, guess what? You get hit for that. You get penalized. So you're going to want to keep an eye on this video, because even though it's a long video, and even though I go over a lot of things, I've read this document about 3-4 times already. It's a lot of information that, once again, you're expected to know, which is kind of weird, because if you look at the Konami handbook, it just says you need to know the rules, and it doesn't say nothing specifically pointed to the tournament policy document, but we're expected to know this. And you have to, which is kind of awkward and kind of weird, and saying it out loud even just sounds horrible, because let's be honest with you, when you go to play the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, you're not going, oh right, I can't wait to read a 49-page document based off information that, let's be honest with you, does not all necessarily matter to me, but in certain instances can be used against me at any free time of a player who has this information. It's kind of messed up if you really think about it. Looking at the document right here, is the page 1. Guys, I just want to fast forward quickly. Instead of going to the first page, I want to fast forward to the last page, because I find this to be way more important as well. We're going to go all the way to the bottom page over here, and if you guys have any problems with judges, and I'm serious about this, because I know a lot of people are going to be watching this video and going, well, V, I got a problem with these judges, or, hey man, listen, judge says this wrong, or judge cursed at me, just said anything that's inappropriate, or just had an attitude, anything. All you got to do is email. Now, once again, you guys watch my content, you know I'm not a rat, but I will say, for those who want a rat, email Konami Judge Program. It's right over here, US/judges support at Konami. You will be, I think this email should lead to the head judge person, Julia Hedberg, and you guys can discuss the issues of a judge. Please make sure to get the judge's name. This is very important at a Yu-Gi-Oh! Event, so if a judge is being a prick and you ask them for the name and they don't give you a name, go to the head judge, and if the head judge doesn't give you the name, well, that head judge will get in trouble for that too. That's a real thing. So, head judges, if you're watching this video, you're going to want to listen as well, because if you don't get the name of the judge who acts inappropriate and you cover for them, no big deal, you will get burned as well. And if you do give them the name, once you get into players, make sure to email Julia and US Judges Support to let them know about any judges that act out of character. Judges are not supposed to be held to a higher standard by getting paid minimum pay, a box of Yu-Gi-Oh! And a pizza. Alright, let's do this. There it is. Just want to throw it out there for you. Once again, real quickly, guys, I'm not anti-judge. I'm not pro-judge. I like good judges, and I hate bad judges a lot. Because a couple of bad judges can ruin it for all the good judges, and a couple of bad judges can ruin it for a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Players in a game that's currently growing exponentially. And I'm not trying to have that happen. So once again, guys, US/judge support at Konami.com. Please, I'm serious, please make sure, and don't do it for a local judge. I mean, the idiots are idiots. Let's just talk to the store owner. But if it's someone like in a tier 2 event at like a regionals or a YCS, report them, let them know, go over full details. If you get video or pictures, if you can, depending on the event you're at, please do so, and especially get a picture of them, and give the whole scenario down, and go tell the head judge afterwards as well. And even the head judge corrects them, still report it. We do not need bad judges. It will hurt this game. Another quick side note about this. This is a 49-page document. The Magic Gathering tournament policy guidelines is it's about as big as the Bible. So this isn't as big as that, but still pretty significant. And one thing that annoys me about these tournament policy documents is how they the wording can easily be abused up until you go to education conflagration. If you are a judge, if you're not a judge, actually look a judge about this. They'll contact whoever in education conflict. That long name, that should not just call it Konami Judge Lounge. KJL would be so much easier. Anyway, do that. Go there, as if you are already a judge, and put that in there, and then wait for a response. You'll get a response from other judges, cool. But once you get a response from, I think it'll be Julia, most likely. Then wait, because that's what you want to hear a response for. So we're going right into it. There's a bunch of information on here, guys. I'm not gonna go over the topics. We're just gonna go into like preparing for play. I'm just gonna look over everything over with you guys. Once again, you're gonna need to have a 10-digit Kasi ID. You go to Konami's website and do it, even though it's a really heavy Japanese website. Most stores still, I know my store has some. I grabbed as many as possible of the physical Konami IDs. If you guys ever go to Nationals, what's my wallet? If you guys ever go to Nationals, I'm not sure if they still do this, but I know they did for me. The World Championship Qualifier. Well, actually, you get one of these cards. There'll be a little table sitting there. You woke up, I believe it's during pre-registration or day one. I'm not 100% sure, but you get one of these, and on the back will actually have your name, information, your Kasi ID. These are awesome. If you do not have your physical one, hopefully Konami will start doing that more at like even a YCS, because that's huge for Yu-Gi-Oh players. For those who don't have this, but if they do, I mean, there it is right there, guys. And if they don't, email Konami and say, hey, listen, can I get a physical card? I only have a digital number. I'd rather have a card. That card's infinitely better than a digital number. Then there's an ineligible duelist, and it's just basically about, you know, judge staff. Obviously, if you're working the event, you can't play in the event. Kind of makes sense. You guys suspend the player list, which hopefully is going to be getting updated. Oh my god, I hit the wrong button. It's going to be getting updated soon. It's 2/6/2019. So I'm going to be looking out for, I think every Yu-Gi-Oh player has to look for that in case you get any surprises. Like another duelist recently got surprised. As far as suspend the player list, you got information about the head judge. There's now there is a setup in which there's a head judge and there's an assistant head judge, and the assistant head judge acts as the head judge. I think that's one of the first things discussed over here is the head judge and assistant head judge. So before, if you have a ruling question and the head judge can give you that answer, what you'll do is the regular judge can give you an answer. You request a head judge whose answer is now final. Now in this instance, now we have a ruling. You go to regular judge, and you gotta have the assistant head judge or the head judge give the final answer, which kind of makes sense. Yu-Gi-Oh's been around for a long while, and multiple Yu-Gi-Oh events, especially higher tier events, we would have multiple guys that can easily be the head judge. So I'm really looking into this and going. Hopefully we would have multiple head judges, so you won't be just waiting. It's better quality of life for everybody. The head judge doesn't have to be running around the whole room. There's an assistant head judge that now can answer those questions, and hopefully we have multiple assistant head judges depending on the event, because that makes everything move a lot more faster. Even though, and I just want to preface this whole video real quickly, guys, by saying, even though I don't agree 100% with the time rulings, it is making events end a lot earlier. What slows it down is things like the head judge answering everyone's question, and with the assistant head judge now, it'll make it a lot more faster. Hopefully Konami comes back and reevaluates their time ruling. Once again, it's very simple. Turn player gets to finish their turn, opponent gets a whack at them, and the opponent's turn is to end. Both players have a little bit of okay, at least we did something here. At least something happened here. I have more life points, you have more life points, but you know, we excelled it. Or at the end of the turn, whoever has if the turn player has the if the turn player has less life points than their opponent, then it's done. As far as media, which is another thing I want to go into more. Where is media over here quickly? I actually asked about media. Hold on a second, because these are all the changes, and once again, guys, I'll leave links all down below for you guys in the comment section for you guys. Members of the media, okay, basically, let me just sum all this up for you, because once again, I was on this little Facebook page, and I asked a bunch of questions, and members of the media, this is only for news media. This does not work towards content creators. Content creators like YouTubers, like myself and other content creators, we still have a small little area that we're allowed to do our content creation. We have to sign up form and agreeing that we're only staying on a small little quadrant. And it's small. If you guys have been to the Yu-Gi-Oh event, you've seen it. It's really small, in which you can record deck files, videos, and all that stuff. It's definitely a massive change compared to what it used to be, which is nothing. But then again, that's still kind of messed up. I really do feel like content creators, and I propose this idea to Konami and to everybody. I think content creators should have their own area where they can play. So if a duelist has to play against a content creator, they can go over there, so a content creator can both record that match at the event, as well as just not move around and then have to run over to one area to record content. It's kind of silly if you ask me. And that's more, it should definitely be a lot bigger. But this is only for anyone who's news media and whatnot. And to be honest with you, if you're a news media, you're probably going to contact Konami via email anyway. it's be a pain, but they'll do that. Or some news media might just show up, but they have all of this information already set up. All they gotta do is find a Konami representative and they'll contact them in case news media is watching this video for some weird reason. Dual responsibilities. This is actually really, really big, because one of the things I just got a clarification on, and let me see if I can find it. I'm not sure I can find it on torrent materials. So this is very important. Your music calculator helps keep track of score, but you must also keep a paper record of life points of all life point changes to help resolve any disputes. This is huge. Let me explain why. Before, you had one guy with a calculator, one guy with a pen and paper, and I have mine's over here. You probably gonna want to buy this. You don't have one of these because now it's kind of a thing now. This is a must-have at Yu-Gi-Oh events. Some locals can be enforced, but for tier 2 and higher events is where it's going to be enforced. If you're playing against me and you have a calculator and I have a pen and paper, you can get penalized for not having a pen and paper. Just because I'm keeping track of both our life points, if you don't have a pen and paper, you will get penalized. I just found this out. This can be used against you, and I'm not even joking you. If you're out of regionals or YCS, you can get penalized heavily. I'm not sure the full penalty. I'm waiting for a clarification on that. Might take a couple of days because there's a lot of people asking questions, but you can get penalized for this now. So whenever you go to regionals, YCS, especially nationals, you better have a pen and paper, and you better have it out, and you better be writing out those life points down, or else you will be, not maybe, not kinda, not okay, your opponent's got it, you're good to go, you have a calculator, it doesn't matter. Both players must have pen and paper. It's very important. That is huge important. Hugely important. So yeah, I mean, there's let's see what else we got here. Unacceptable behavior is also another one. It's a bunch of things. Obviously, if you're a jerk, if you arrive to your event drunk, I think one thing is really important, and I mean, it depends on where your regions are at or where your YCs or wherever. Some Yu-Gi-Oh events I go to, roughly around round 2 or 3, maybe in the beginning of the event, before the event starts at times, people smoke weed and it reeks, and it smells the whole place up. Well, I mean, I don't know how Konami's going to properly enforce this, but, I mean, because at least they're not narcotics officers, and they ain't narcs, 80s term, but if you show up stinking of weed, you can get in trouble at Yu-Gi-Oh events. This is something that's been ongoing for a while. I'm kind of glad this is happening. I'm the kind of guy, I don't care about you smoking your weed. Cool, do what you gotta do. But when you're at a Yu-Gi-Oh event, and the whole event, and I mean, you got 300 players. In the case of Columbus, Ohio regionals, we had 550 players. You smell like weed. It permeates. Now, I smoke cigarettes. I understand my cigarette smoke has a bit of permeation as well, but nowhere near as much as weed does. And one's legal, one's not legal. So how about you just stop doing that at a Yu-Gi-Oh event? How about you just contain yourself for a little bit and play the card game? In this instance, unfortunately, like I said, guys, maybe some of you guys might have a medical setup that you might want to bring, and depending on your state, by the way. Prescription medicines may only be brought use to events to the person who is which prescribed. Basically, you can't carry someone else's, like, yeah. Someone else can't walk around holding my buterol. I have to hold it. Sure. Obviously, that's a light-hearted term. There's other terms for more medical uses, medical things, but that's it. A person may not bring any tournaments that are prohibited by law. I mean, obvious. The use of vapors, electronic vape and cigarettes are not permitted on the tournament floor at any sanctioned event. These have basically become the same as these. So I hate smoking. I like vaping, but it's considered the same thing, which I think is kind of silly. But rules are rules. Basically, if you have a vape, you gotta put it in your backpack. Some of the vapes, I know mine has it where you can put it on. They have like a hold button, like on an iPhone or whatever. You hit that, so if you hit the button, it won't light up. That's what you gotta use right now if you are vaping. You know what? It's not that big a deal, to be honest with you. Even though I don't agree with it, it's not gonna hurt you. It doesn't have a huge smell to it. I totally get that. I understand why Konami would want to have that. It's just because it can annoy somebody else, and they just want to cut that out. Sure. You may not use electronic devices other than calculators during a match, including cell phones, smartwatches. Now, this is something that kind of annoys me, and I get why they have it there, but it still annoys me. So, smartwatch and iWatch, obviously. There's other watches as well, but most likely iWatch is the most popular one. This has to be on airplane mode. If you have it on airplane mode, you can wear it. If you do not have it on airplane mode, and somehow someone sends you a message, you can get penalized. Keep that in mind. That's really important. Now, if you guys don't know how to put your iWatch on airplane mode, it's one of these little doohickeys. You flip up, and a little airplane, hit that button, and you're in airplane mode. You will not receive any messages at all. kind of defeats the purpose of an iWatch. But then again, if you want to do, I know some of the people are asking in the education configuration, can I use it as a timer? And obviously you can use it as a timer to coincide your, the clock's behind you, so you have the timer on here so you could keep track of time as you're playing the match. So that's the only use I can find for it. I really wish I could have it off, but these rules are in place because somebody has obviously broken them and or abused them. I guarantee you, someone texted their boy saying, hey man, don't play that card because you got an ash boss. So that's kind of why it's annoying. Same thing with like, I mean, I guess a lot of these rules are in the place because of that. It really sucks. You might not wear headphones during a match. That's been around for a long time, but I'm not sure if it's been really enforced. Sporadically, you'll see Yu-Gi-Oh! Players with headphones at Yu-Gi-Oh! Events. That's fine, you just can't wear them as you're playing the match. That's it. I mean, most of Yu-Gi-Oh! Players kind of adhere to that. You might not eat or drink at tournament tables, including between rounds. So you can't have a drink on a table. As much as I hate that, because I love drinking my vitamin waters, people spill or people leave a mess, and it's still going to happen. And I'm not sure Konami's going to be able to fully enforce that. If you're attending an event and constantly wearing a not mask, why would you wear masks when you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh? Even a Halloween Yu-Gi-Oh event, you want to see your cards. I mean, obviously someone abuses rule in the past. They played with a clown mask on. It's a whole long story. I get it. So that's for that one. Let's see what else I got. Invites and other credentials. Those responsible for verifying they would need a badge. Okay, this one's basically saying, hey, if you go to Comic-Con, you need a Comic-Con badge in order to play Yu-Gi-Oh! If you want to play at the Yu-Gi-Oh! Booth at the Comic-Con. Sure. Understanding policy, we have emphasized that in addition to understanding rulings, all persons attending a tournament must be familiar with tournament policy. This is what I don't like. And I see what they're coming from. They're doing this like, if you don't know it, well, you don't know. We told you you're supposed to read 49 pages. You didn't read it? That's on you, my guy. I don't agree with that fully. I think there should be a shortened version of all these rulings for Yu-Gi-Oh! Players. Obviously, some of these should be on the shoulders of judges, and some of these should be pretty much basic, that don't really need to be enforced as much. So I don't agree that you need to read 49 pages. A lot of this is, some of it's the stuff you don't need, some of the stuff you absolutely desperately need, and some of these rulings are going to get abused against you, and that is the major point of this video, actually. I was not going to make this video up until I started seeing how easy that can be done, and moving forward, that's going to continue to be done no matter what. So everyone attending an event should read and understand tournament policy documents for their territory. If they have any questions, they should ask the judge tournament official. Not knowing policy will not exempt you. Once again, it's Konami's way of going, hey, if you don't know what you don't know, if you don't know this, then it ain't on us, it's on you. Get your, and I don't, like I said, I agree with it to a degree, and there's a degree where I go, come on, man, really? You gotta know all that? Subsection G, unacceptable behavior. Clarifies in previous part. It just clarifies electronic devices other than a calculate may not be used during a match. Obviously, if you have anything medical, you can be used. Just make sure to let the TO know so they don't bust your chops as you're playing the game. Any devices such as a smartwatch. I already had that. Duels may not have headphones. Duels may not eat or drink at tables. Duels may not wear. Okay, I already read through all this. Okay, let's go to communication. Duelists may not retract moves once they commit them. Okay, I'm not sure if you guys ever play chess, but when you play chess and you have a chess piece and you move it, that, as long as you're holding that chess piece, even lightly, that move is still in the air. You haven't committed to that move. The second, and this is important, you let go of that move, the second you let go of that piece, I'm still holding my vape, the second you let go of that piece, you have committed to that move. It's no longer yours. It now belongs to your opponent, whether or not they want to respond to that. Alternatively, that's just, besides the physical chess piece move, another thing I like to use for you guys, if I go standby phase, and you go sure, and I go end standby phase main phase, and you go sure, and then you go wait, nope, you just agreed to do it. Even after you said sure and you go, I meant to say this, doesn't matter. The minute you allow that to happen, the minute you pass it, you green light it, there is no yellow light in that situation. Hygiene. Can we talk about hygiene for a second? I really do enjoy this because this is something that I'm glad Konami put in its place. They should have had this, but now that they have this, cool. You expect it to be clean when you enter a tournament. Neglecting to wash or put on clean clothes contributes to an unpleasant atmosphere in the event. As the tournament can be crowded and the day can be long, persons who neglect self-care at that point, that they neglectly impacting the tournament may be asked to correct the issue in order to continue the event. Basically, they're saying if you smell horrible, and you're going, well, I'm sorry, it's because I'm a big fat dude, or I'm sorry because I sweat a lot. I have thyroidism, which your glands overproduce sweat. Though Konami goes, I understand. That's totally. Hey, it happens all. You need to fix it though, or else you can't play anymore. I mean, it's gonna get to that point where it's like your smell is so bad. You need to get this situated. I'm not talking about going to the bathroom, put a little paper towel under your butt cheeks. I'm talking about bringing deodorant. What I do at Yu-Gi-Oh events is I bring 2 backpacks when I go to Yu-Gi-Oh events. I have 2 backpacks. I have a light one. I'm gonna put my deck box, drinks in, all that stuff, and I have one in my car And I mean, depending on this ruling, depending how far your event is, obviously, you might want to bring an extra shirt. So I'm trying to explain, and leave it in a backpack. A nice dry shirt. I bring deodorant with me. I use stick deodorant. Pop it on me before the event. No big deal. Go to the event. If you start getting sweaty, run back to the car between rounds. Hit yourself with some stick deodorant. Maybe grab a little drink if you're out of drinks. I always like to carry a drink with me and a couple of drinks in my bag, as well as having an extra shirt in case that shirt's soaking wet sweaty. I've done this many times, and now I recommend you do it. Because you have to now. And I think everyone should. Obviously, nobody wants to play against somebody that smells really bad that impedes them from playing Yu-Gi-Oh! This makes perfect sense, and I'm glad that this is now a rule. I wish Konami went into more details with this as far as actual penalties towards this, but nevertheless, I'm glad they did this because, let's be honest with you, how many times do you play against somebody that smells really badly, and when someone smells really badly, it impedes your game state when you're playing. I don't care if you have 1 card or 2 cards, you cannot play properly if you're smelling somebody that smells like pure sewage water. It's not fair, and it's not right. I'm glad this is finally being corrected. And I'm telling you right now, this is going to be enforced at a local level as well. Me and my store, my customers, I'm enforcing this. As far as other stores out there, I guarantee they'll be doing the same thing. Hey man, if you smell a little bit, no big deal. But if you smell really bad and you just don't care, we have real big issues. And I don't know about anyone else out there. I'm gonna correct that because I don't like other players having to deal with that. And hopefully other OTS store owners as well as regionals and bigger events, people don't like that as well. Then I got tournament tiers. Obviously, it's very simple. Tier 1 is OTS stores, sneak peeks, and duelist leagues. Anything beyond that is tier 2. Simple. I mean, I would say tier 2 or higher, but for the most part, we don't care about tier 4. Most of your players won't play in tier 4. Tier 3 is a championship, Ultimate Duel Series, Nationals. Tier 2 and tier 3, you often get confused. It really doesn't mean nothing, to be honest with you, between tier 2 and tier 3. The rule set is still the same. The mentality is still the same. A little bit higher prize setup, but for the most part, tier 1 is this. OTS, Sneak Peek, Duelist League. That's really the whole setup of that. Then you got tournament formats, and that's kind of cool. Now they have more tournament formats for like 3-3. Nobody's doing sealed. That's Konami. Like, stop this. It's getting embarrassed. When you say sealed, I feel embarrassed because I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh! Players think sealed. They go, oh, Magic. They're not thinking Yu-Gi-Oh! Sealed. Yu-Gi-Oh! Sealed has been tried many times and failed many times, and that's not because it can't work. It can work. It's just Konami has just blundered it. Let's call it for what it is. Hopefully they'll have a better system in place in the future. But right now, sealed Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a joke and a bad one at that. Constructed we get. Opening dueling is a more of a phrase to Yu-Gi-Oh! Players who are not playing in the main event. And when you open duel, you can just go hang out, play with your buddies, practice, and then you can play another thing. So we kind of get that. Special formats. The main one everyone really now cares about is 3-3. I'm personally doing a tag duel event in my shop. I email Konami, hopefully I get a response, but I'm still doing it no matter what. Like, it's sanctioned. And then generation duels, which are a joke and a bad one. And then other ones like school duel, which is actually really cool. I really wish Konami promoted school duel a lot more. Kids can get like what you call it, sponsorship or whatever towards their college. I forgot the phrase, but you know what I'm trying to say. Time limits. We're not talking about that. Special assistance, obviously, the person attending an event who requires special assistance of any kind, assigned seating, combination for service animals, which I'm really glad they finally, I'm not sure if this was in the previous one, but I'm glad it's more clarified for service animals for those who had that. I actually have, I can get a service animal, actually. But that's a little maybe if you guys watch my live stream, I'll tell you more about that. I was debating on it at one point to get one, but that's a whole different side. I'll mention my live stream, but I need to tell you right now. We'll have a clear idea what can be, and I like this. I like how Konami's like, hey, listen, if you have any problems, come to us that need special seating. We will work with you. That's cool. I like that. I don't want to give any things, but years ago, maybe like 10 years ago, that attitude might have been a little bit different depending on your circumstance. I believe it or not. Sleeves. This is my favorite thing. You cannot use sleeves with artwork or holograms on the front. You know, artwork and holograms like the Konami sleeves. You know, the Konami sleeves. I mean, you can use Konami sleeves. You can use these sleeves, right? Konami sleeves. Let's see if I can find a picture of them. Hold on one second. The Kaiba Corp sleeves. Specifically, these sleeves. You specifically cannot use sleeves with artwork, which just appears to be artwork, and are reflective backs, which I'm not sure what's the better definition of reflective back other than Kaiba Corporation card sleeves. Now, it was after reading an education conflagration, which sounds like a Doctor Who a story starting to pick up that nobody wants to read. It really felt like I was told that this is because people with certain medical conditions were actually having problems with these sleeves. Which, you know what? Hopefully that you know, this rule isn't enforced, because I don't want to make it uncomfortable for those individuals, whether it's a minority of individuals or a majority. It doesn't matter. It's just people are uncomfortable. 2 people had really big medical issues because of the hollow foil sleeves, and I'm laughing because I can only think the only hollow foil sleeves that are insanely hollow foil, like huge, is these. These are yours, Konami. Now, let's call it for what it is. These sleeves are amazing. I love these sleeves, and I like to use these sleeves in my extra deck. And I haven't read every single comment in education conflagration, but not the who. But I gotta ask them: do they mean exactly these sleeves? Because these are really nice sleeves, though, and not for the main deck, but for the extra deck, they really are nice. So if you can't use them, that's fine. But like, that's a bit of a bluster, Konami. Okay, let's keep going. Tournament materials, obviously, is going to be things like, let's go over real quickly for tournament materials. Where is it? Did I pass it? Control F, that bad boy. Tournament materials. 1 second. Tournament materials, okay. Once again, things you need. Paper and pencil. This is not a maybe. This is not a kinda. From now on, you need paper and pencil. Get something as easily as a notepad. Hey, you can use one of Konami pens if you guys actually participate in Konami side event. So, I mean, Konami speed duels, you get one of these. You get a black one or one of those red ones, they're both black pens. There's the bottom. I like the red one personally. Anyway, that, or I personally like, and I'm a pen connoisseur, Pilot G2 1.0, because 0.7 is for losers. 1.0 is a lot more thicker. Actually, here, I got it right here. You can see it over here, guys, hopefully. This is what you need to do for your life points. I usually go me, him, 8,000, 8,000. You're not supposed to put this on there. Normally, I'm supposed to put this on the back, but once again, Columbus, 584 players in 10 rounds, and over here, 64 as in top 64. Once again, you want to put that on another sheet. You can't take those kind of notes, evidently. I did, though, but, and then you write down, you know, once again, me, him, and at the end, what I like to do at the end of you know, write down what Deca was, and then any specific notes I'll write after the match is over, which I'm pretty sure you can do. You can't do it during the match. If not, once again, find another sheet, no big deal. That's important. Replacement sleeves, obviously. Most deck boxes over here. Hang on 1 second. Most deck boxes like Dragon Shields over here, they say 60, but they usually leave a couple of extra sleeves. To be honest with you, if you're playing a 60 card deck, these aren't even enough anyway, because you got side deck your 15 card side deck, so this is not a big deal. But if you got a 45 card deck with 15, you should have 5 extra sleeves, at least 5 extra sleeves, and you're gonna use this, so you should be good. I would put this in the same deck box as you would put like your translations. You can't put in the same one. Put in the same deck box you put your translations and or errated cards is what I would recommend. Tokens, you gotta anything uses a token. Now this has changed dramatically, because back in the day you used anything as a token. You use a shoe as a token. I've used a shoe as a token. It's legal, it was hilarious, and I had a fun time doing it. Anything used to be used as a token back in the day. Now they've changed it. Konami is actually enforcing tokens because they're making more tokens for everybody. So tokens are being changed. So now it has to specifically say on the card that is a token. It can go in your main deck box, but it has to be the word token must be clearly and immediately visible, as to not misleading. You can't use a Pokemon card anymore. You can't have cards that are not in Yu-Gi-Oh out on the table, by the way. So no more of having your old school TI-82 or 84 calculator with the sweet calculator case with all the dice on it, and they have the Pokemon cards. Even though that was badass, and I love looking. I never had one, but I always love looking at it, because everyone had always cool cards, or maybe like talking about simple cards or whatever. No more. You can't have those cards out. You will get in trouble for those cards. You can't get a game loss. Do not mess around. Those cards got to go bye-bye. Bye-bye cards. By the way, nothing can be double sleeved at all, no matter what. Doesn't matter. Tokens, not double sleeved. Back in the day, once again, you can double sleeve your shoe. Moving forward, obviously you want to have dice. The easiest dice, if you can get it, is the Konami dice. Or you go down to a dollar store, buy just regular dice. You can't use offensive images on dice. Not that there really are any, but the ones that are, come on, man. Like, you should know this. Counters. I use dice. Dice. Everyone uses dice for counters anyway. I don't know why they even have this here. Konami just have no official counters in place. So this goes back to the old token rule where anything will be a counter. Once in Konami, just say dice. Let's move on. Coins. Coins must be a quarter. You can't have a fake coin, basically. Field marker. You're encouraged to use a field marker to clarify position of cards. Field center markers cannot be items that could be confused for other game elements, such as token cards. It just basically has to be a field center card. You go on eBay, grab one of these bad boys, because Konami has nice ones, but there's really good ones on eBay, depending what you want. I really wish Konami made like metallic field center, you know, really nice ones, but now we'll get plastic ones, sure. But you know what I'm trying to say, guys. And then game mats. They are not required for tournament play. You don't need them. Game mats must fit within the space allotted to you. This is important. because people used to do back in the day used to have a the old neoprene mats had a certain dimensions. I've got like 24 by like 19, 15, 14, whatever, it's 12. I'm going lower. Used to be allowed to have that. Now, no. If you go to Yugo event and you only have this much space, you're only allowed to put your playmat on that space. It's actually kind of terrible. Good because we're getting more players, but horrible because you got no room to play Yu-Gi-Oh. Happened at me at the YCS over in Ohio, and I guarantee if you guys went to that event, it probably happened to you too. Game mats that are overly large could damage cards or other tournament policy or contain offensive images cannot be used. Basically, if your mat's too big, you can't use it, obviously. Like, hurt people, sure. Bad people, bad mats, we get it. Let's move forward, guys. So let's field layout, this game state. It makes it for people easy to understand. Okay, let's go to... Wait, oh yeah, hold on a second. I'm left-handed, okay? I'm not sure if you guys know this. A little fun fact, I'm a lefty. Now, watching this video, you are probably a lefty. I'm guessing, because you watch my video. No. Not only am I left-handed, but most people write this way. I write at a 90 degrees angle as a lefty. It's more easier for me. Long story. Maybe once again, if you guys have actually in a live stream, I'll go into more details. But I'm a lefty. I write at a 90 degree angle. That's what I do. You are allowed to do that. You are not. Well, yeah, sure, you can write it. But when you're playing, the Yu-Gi-Oh game mat is made for right-handed players. Some players might disagree. Some players might agree. But they're wrong if they disagree. It's made for right-handed players. If you're left-handed, you can play with your deck on the left side. So, grab my deck box, grab my deck, and you can play with your deck on the left side. Now, once again, I do it at a 90 degree angle, so my deck will be curved like this. You can still do this. If you are, like me, left-handed, 90 degree, you just have to state to your opponent, hey, listen, man, my board's being switched, I'm left-handed. I do this at a 90 degree angle. If you have any questions, let me know, but this is my angle. I do it. I feel most comfortable about doing it. That is totally fine. Up until, where is it? With the exception of tier 4 tournaments, you can't do that. So if I go to Worlds, I can't do that. But let's be honest with you, they'll probably let me do it anyway. It's just whatever makes you comfortable. Once again, if you need to modify the field layout, you're responsible for clearly notify your opponent changes to the field. Just say, hey man, listen, everything's flipped. I'm lefty. I do everything at an angle. My deck's at an angle. We're cool, right? And they go, no, notify the judge. Judge will look at them and go, really dumbass. And then you can do what you want to do anyway, because you're just being idiots and just trying to stall for time. You're required to maintain the positions of all cards that are originally placed in the field, except where's the one that another important one? I'm not sure if it says. Oh yeah, where is it? Here's some examples of things you need to be able to pay attention when you look at field layout. Avoid collapsing your field into other safe spaces. Don't do that. Do not shift cards from one zone to the next unless the card effect directs you. So if you put a card in one zone and you want to clarify, look at your opponent. At least let's say I have a card in my main zone 3, but it looks like it's going to main zone 4. Look at my opponent, clarify, hey, this is in main zone 3, and just work on. And they say yes, you should be good. Not once again notify that judge. Do not put anything in the zone reserved from something else. Obviously, like don't put your deck in your banish pile. Never place banish cards underneath the spell and trap zone. This is for old school Yu-Gi-Oh players. I don't see new school Yu-Gi-Oh players do that, but maybe they're learning from the old school Yu-Gi-Oh players. When you already had a banish pile, you just put it behind your spell and trap zone. You can't do that anymore. The banish pile is actually located on top of the graveyard at an angle. And then it's careless to set your hand down the field. I do it all the time. I don't know. I don't want to say it's careless. As long as what I do is when I play against my opponent, and I'm not. If you guys have this too, when you have your hand and you want to set your hand down, obviously because you want to focus on the field, graveyard, banish pile. You want to get all this information, but you don't want to hold your hand because you don't want to. You know what I'm saying? What I would recommend is take my hand. If I say I have 2 cards, I'll put it down. I'll look at my opponent and go, hey, listen, this is my hand right here. I have 2 cards. They'll go, that's fine. And once they say that's fine, they acknowledge that you have 2 cards in your hand and you pointed to it. There's nothing they can say that goes, I didn't know they had 2 cards. I didn't know where it was. No. I told you, I have 2 cards in my hand. I pointed to it. I looked at you dead in your eyes and you said, sure, we were good for this turn. As long as they acknowledge it, they can't really recant it. It is technically clear if you don't say that, but that's what I personally do. That avoids that little troublesome issue on there, and hopefully I'll help you guys out as well. Because I like to put my hand to the side because I want to focus on everything. My hand means nothing because I already know what's in my hand. If I don't have a hand trap, why would I want to hold it, obviously? Put it to the side, that's used for next turn. I'm focusing on this right now. Hopefully I'll help you guys out. What else we got here? Now, I could go over this verification ordeal. I can easily go over it. If you're watching this video, you've probably seen other videos on verification. We probably know 1000% about verification to the point where it's annoying. You probably agree or disagree with it. I personally both agree and disagree with certain parts of verification. Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly what I disagree with because I feel like that will not help you because in the video you're trying to learn. But what I will tell you is it's now based on the honesty system. Yu-Gi-Oh players must be honest. If Yu-Gi-Oh players are caught not being honest, they will be in deep trouble, most likely suspended, up until suspended probably for about at least a year. I would consider that at least a cheating infraction, so at least a year suspension. But once again, that's up to Konami staff. But definitely something that you want to follow up on if your opponent is lying to you. There is little clarifications in which you can call a judge. Let's say I play a card to search another card, add to my hand, and after I add a card to my hand, you activate a card to take that card out. Like say Mind Crush, and I say I don't have it in my hand. Obviously, you know it's in my hand. You can call a judge. It's just gonna walk over and we can verify. That can be done. Other than that, verification is no longer 100% needed, depending on a specific circumstance in which you know that card's in your opponent's hand, deck, or field, depending where you're looking. Hopefully that clarifies it, guys. It's that quick. It's that simple. I don't fully agree with it, but then again, for the interest of saving time at a Yu-Gi-Oh event and in this video, I do agree with that point, because the time ruling is so bad. It's so easily abused by those who are just reading through your hand for hours. Just, I want to read every single card, or looking at your deck and going, I want to know everything about your deck. I do understand that point. I understand why this rule is put in place. I just don't fully agree with it, but I get it to that point. I do. We have to fix the time ruling in order to really fix this ruling. Until then, this has to be the ruling because of the time ruling. It's one or the other. That's basically what it comes down to. And I'm glad that Konami has put something like this in place, because it took a toolbox out of those who are looking to store. That simple. Tournament factions. Oh boy, that's kind of depressing. I don't want to read the tournament factions. You guys, like I said, tournament factions. If you mess up, there's infractions. It's you know, there's errors, tarnish, deck errors, drawing cards, mark cards, slow play, unsportsmanlike conduct, cheating, and of course with all these, there's minors and majors and all that stuff. So just don't do it. I mean, can I be honest with you? Just don't do it. Like, why put yourself in that position, you know, where you're doing a procedural error, which is something you do on purpose, by the way. If you do it by accident, obviously you're not trying to mess up the game state on purpose to give yourself up in hand. There's tardiness, something. If you come late, you know, you're screwed. Deck errors. If you have something in a deck list that's not there, you're gonna get in trouble. Drawing extra cards, we already know about. I accidentally drew an extra card at I think it was YCS in Pittsburgh 3 years ago actually. Judges called on me, and I looked. I just stood there. I couldn't do nothing. I was not gonna scoop the game away. I wanted to see what happens, and the judge ruled it perfectly. I drew X card. It was my fault, and I got the game lost. My opponent said sorry. I said, no man, you know what? It's not on you. It's my fault. I did it by accident, but not the same token. I'm glad you raised. I mean, this is something. We're in a major event, so I totally get it. As much as I didn't like it, I got it. Mark cards. This hasn't been done in a long while in Yu-Gi-Oh! Maybe they've gotten really good, or maybe nobody's doing it anymore, which is good because, you know, when you mark 3 cards, you know. Slow play. Konami, listen, you made this whole thing to clarify this whole setup, and slow play gets, ready for it, 2 sentences. No. I want you to go back, Konami, and I want you to fix slow play. Go into detail. We need a lot more information because Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are purposely going to slow play. It is happening. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Players specifically trying to burn the clock, and we need more than 2 sentences on something that is affecting all of us Yu-Gi-Oh! Players. You want to clarify all this other stuff? Totally cool. Work on slow play. That's the #1 thing Yu-Gi-Oh! Players are having to deal with because of your time rulings. That is very, very unfair, unbalanced, and can easily abuse slow play, which is happening. Which was never really happening in Yu-Gi-Oh! As much as it wasn't over there in the OCG because they were slow play masters, and now it's happening here in TCG, and it's impacting us Yu-Gi-Oh! Players. And to be honest with you, if you want to continue this time rule, which I don't agree with, but I totally understand, fine. But you gotta give us more than 2 sentences on slow play. Go into details, because there's a lot that encompasses slow play, and I want to hear about players losing games when it's intentional. That's what I want to hear about. At least losing games if a player intentionally slow play, cheek, because it just. It's so, like, it rarely happens, but when it does happen, players are just trying to, you know, randomly get what they need. Let's be honest. Like, I like bribery. I totally get dice rolls. Wagering, sure. You can't say I'll give you 20 bucks. I'll win, and this happens no matter what. You can't do it at all. Official, unofficial. Konami will so burn you for that one. Buying and selling, we already know that. Predatory trading. If you are found trading to little Johnny, trading for his playset of Phantasmes as mommy bought a bunch of boxes for because she's loaded because new stepdaddy got money like that, and little Johnny got a playset of Phantasmes, and you trade Johnny a playset of Dark Magician Ultimate Rare, not telling what's from the structure deck, you can get in trouble because that is considered a predatory trade. If you are found out about doing that, you can get be removed from the venue and subject to additional penalties, most likely your exposure from the game. Prohibited item, same thing as the other one. I don't know why they wrote this in twice. Privileged information. Sure. So this is kind of important. I kind of want to, I kind of need to go with this with you guys, because I'm like I said, I'm really worried about the penalty, suspension. I better not be suspended for anything, Konami. Just throwing it out there. Persons who publicize privileged information, such as set contents, card spoilers, etc., for KDE US brands before such information is officially released to the public, may incur penalties, including suspension from participation in organized play, and or which is a big deal, removal as an OTS. The reason why I'm so a little bit concerned about this is because let's say another store blows up a whole full spoiler list. Now, you guys know my situation. I'm an OTS store owner, and I record YouTube videos. What if that guy give a whole spoiler of something, dual power, let's say, throws it on Facebook, other content creators are talking about it, I make a video, I talk about the full spoiler that happened with, let's say, dual power, we'll just say. Will I get in trouble? Now, this is something very important because it's kind of not really talked about. It's not really thrown out there. It's meant for persons, which means more than one person. You understand what I'm trying to show you here? And what that means is, will Konami start banning Yu-Gi tubers for showing information that has been leaked? That's kind of a big deal, and I really wish Konami just came out and said if that was the case. Or maybe Konami went over and said, hey, or, you know, I mean, obviously on our YouTube channel we have our emails. Konami can check our emails out. And we can have that, just a quick email, hey, listen, not for nothing, don't okay, we got it, we're good. And then send us, you know, something like that, work with us on that. But this is really scary because Konami can now at will ban for as long as they want, to be honest with you. Suspension, you know, really ranges from a year and the recurring. And after a year, my suspension's not up, I just have a chance of going, hey, Konami. And they explain over here in suspension from KDE Organized Play, going to Konami and saying, hey, listen, can I not be suspended anymore? And they'll go, I'll see you next year there. Well, next year. We'll give it to you next year. We'll see about next year. You know what? You come back in 2 years. I'm feeling in a suspension mood today. So I don't agree with this. I don't like this. I feel like this is something that can easily be abused by Konami. And if Konami really wanted to, we're going to be straight up honest with everybody about this. They could ban every single Yu-Gi YouTuber that talks about news that's from Yu-Gi-Oh! Just straight up. And that's basically about, if we're going to be honest, 95 to almost 100% of the Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTuber roster, including myself. And they can remove me as an OTS, and they can remove me personally from organized play, as well as other content creators. In fact, all content creators. So this is kind of a really great area in which Konami can now start bullying content creators. And this is a big deal. This is a really big deal. So I'm personally going to go back in education conflagrations back to the Zeus and ask Konami, hey, what the... You know, what's going on here? I understand that this is a thing, but once again, it's we are publicizing privileged information, but that information has already been publicized already. Do we get, you know what I'm saying? So this is kind of worrisome. This can be easily abused. This is definitely a great area, and I'm definitely I'll get back to you guys on this. If you want, once again, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Follow me if you're watching this video this long on my, I have a little bit of code today. Follow me on my social media and all that stuff for any information about this. If you have a question, please hit me up about this. Or when I'm doing a live stream, ask me about this and I'll be able to tell you. You can't impersonate Konami employees. Sure, nobody does. You're not cops. Then the suspension, like I said earlier, about how it can be a recurrent thing. A suspended person not automatically reinstated in organized play. You have to actually hit up US penalty at Konami, and it's a bit of a process, to be honest. It never happened to me. I play this game. I've been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Since Yu-Gi-Oh! Came out. I'm not sure when it was released in New York, but the first day I got a starter deck, and I've been playing ever since. And I've never, ever been suspended. I've never been threatened by suspension. It's never happened. But as Konami reevaluates their tone and policy documents, there's always that idea of, hey, this can happen. Even though I'm a content creator, even though I'm playing this game forever, I'm not above any of this stuff. And I don't think nobody really is, to be honest with you. With that said, can this be abused? You bet you. If you're Konami and you have your content creators that are your people, and there's another content creator, you can easily abuse any of this to knock off another content creator. That's a joke. And this is where it gets kind of worrisome as far as Konami's, what you call it, KDE.US reserves the right to suspend persons from KDE organized play program for misbehavior not connected to a specific event. Persons do not need to have been disqualified in order to warrant additional penalties from KDE. Basically, they can suspend you if they want to. I mean, it's right there, guys. I'm not trying to. This ain't this ain't me doing anything. Infractions do not need to have occurred in a venue as long as basically if Konami goes, Joe's a jerk, they can just suspend Joe. There goes Joe. Bye, Joe. Bill? I like Bill. You know what, Bill? You had a 4-year suspension. We're gonna revoke that. You're good to go. Bob, you get 5 years. Like, they could just do this, and this is something that's kind of worrisome, to be honest with you, because I'm about fair, straight up rulings and information as far as this. Totally fine, but when it's gonna be done kind of blindly, that does leave a little credence for a little worry. And then once again, guys, is everything here talking about special format, general, sealed pack. Sealed pack has more information on it than slow play. That's not fair. Sealed pack swap. Look at all this. This should have been slow play. For as far as sealed pack should have been one sentence. We're trying to work on it. That should be the sentence for sealed pack and booster draft. Look at all. Hold on a second. We got more. Okay, we're doing all this. All this information should be slow play. Sealed pack should be like, see this how it goes, there's no maximum deck size? This should be sealed packs thing. So sealed pack or booster draft and it goes, we're trying to work on it. It's not good. You don't want to do it right now. Like, that's what it should be. Then you got like the information like card legality. Show and jump promos are already released here in the TCG are now legal, but until they're released, then they're not legal. Obviously, standing with those terminal cards, preview cards as well. As well as like up until you got cards like already individuals that have been reprinted are obviously legal. Updated errata text. You're not required to have the updated errata card. You should. You don't have to, which I think you should, by the way. You should bring a printed copy of the most recent updated card text. I think just like with translations, as you can see over here, guys, just like with translations, you should bring the original copy. Put it in the same deck box as translations. Now, it was explained to me in this dumb Dr. Zeus name of a group that you should have a binder and have the cards in your binder labeled No, that's kind of overkill. You get a small deck box, not too busy, boom. Small deck box, that's not your deck box, and don't have to, listen, don't have your main deck box in the same deck box that looks like this, and translations in the net deck box that looks like this. No, completely different deck boxes. Let me give you a good example. Hold on, hey, you know what, whatever. I'll hide the names in case Konami, whatever. Here, like this. Can't tell that these are the same because they're not the same. One should be your translations, and what I recommend, updated card text and foreign cards should be in one. I'm dead serious. Do it. It'll save you a bunch of time. Also, Konami was going to ask you to have extra friend look through your binder. Just have it in here. It's way easier. And for foreign language card, and if your main deck, have it in here. Separate. They look different. This is easier. That's all you need to do. That's it. Foreign cards. As far as marked cards, altar card series, they're not really marked. These would be called marked cards. Altar cards with like signatures. I know I've done a bunch of signatures. If it's in the artwork, it's good as long as that artwork, as long as the signature doesn't branch out and hit the text. The minute the signature touches the text, you can't use that card. It's useless. Done. There's a bunch of information over here, but it's best way of saying it. If any of the artwork or any of the drawings on the card touches the text, or any of it's raised off the card itself, you just can't use it. That's simple. I mean, obviously, obvious card is obvious. If it's changed in any way, if you add layers on it, you just, it's kind of, easy peasy. Marked cards that are marked. You put a little bend on the card, put a little bend on the sleeve. You're marking it. Let's not kind of waste time on that one. All the cards are bent on it. If the cards are bent on it, you better flatten that bad boy straight down. European cards sometimes have bends. Your Americans are really flat. Yeah, you can't. If you do get European cards and you have an American card, flatten those bad boys down, or it's considered technically a marked card. Misprint cards can't be used, period. It just can't be used. If it's misprint, it cannot be used. I'm sorry. Usable locals, they allow it, they probably will. But for Konami, higher events, they don't care. Counterfeit cards, nobody has any more. Upper Deck is done making them, so there's no such thing as counterfeit cards. Proxy cards cannot be used at all, period. The end of that, that's it. Done. You cannot include proxy cards in your deck. Done. And once again, guys, go back to the judge community and penalty guidelines. Thank you guys for staying for this full video breaking down official tournament policy V2. Sounds like a lot? It is a lot, actually. I read this about 3 times. I'm sweating because I have a really bad cold as I'm doing this video. I've been back and forth reading in education configuration, and as much as I made fun of that name, they actually are a big help, and the information they give is actually really good. And if you guys apply and become a judge in the Konami system, it is a way to take it on here, online here. You can actually join this group once you are a judge, and it does provide good information. Some of the judges here are kind of straight up, they're kind of pricks. They kind of talk like fancy, and they kind of kiss a little butt. but at the same time, there's great information here, and that's kind of why I'm part of this group, because of the information. If it was just nothing but butt kissing, people talking fancy, I'd probably be out of here. But that's a symptom which you have to deal with, and hopefully the name changes because I hate it. AC is an easier name. Anyway, guys, that's the whole breakdown of the Tournament Policy 2. Obviously, if there's any information I left out, please make sure to put it in the comment section down below. If you watch this whole video, please comment down below. Let me know you watched the whole video. I hopefully you guys learned something from this, watching this video. I try to give you as much information as possible. I try to go away with you guys as best as possible, and the information I found outside with, as far as education confirmation, I included in this video, and hopefully you guys can use this information that will help you out. And if you have Kaiba sleeves, just let Konami know, because that's their sleeves, that's their company sleeves, and it's kind of funny. Anyway, Paisanos, I really appreciate you guys watching my video. Please make sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. I show Mark what's coming out later on today. Take it easy, Paisanos.